Welcome to How to Promote a New Business from a Professional Copywriter's Perspective. This was a webinar that was delivered in January of 2024 and covers everything from pre-marketing through to paid channel marketing. So if you haven't met me before, my name is Amanda. I'm a top cert writer on People Per Hour. I have handled hundreds of clients and gotten more than 500 five-star reviews for my writing work. But my background is actually in marketing, and I've had several senior marketing roles across casinos, lifestyle brands, apps, and hotels. So in today's webinar, we will cover the pre-marketing prep that you need to do before you launch a business or a product, the presence mapping that can help you with these activities, the content planning that goes into your launch strategy, and then a launch timeline and what channels you might want to look at. So pre-marketing prep work. So if you check out the link that I'll provide in the description, you can get a link to the persona research document, which has some useful questions that you can ask about your audience that will help you align your messaging and tone of voice with them. If you're an existing business, you might already have some of this, but if you're doing like an annual launch or it's been a few years since you've launched anything, you may want to relook at this as your audience can change. From that document, you'll want to create a persona or tone of voice one-pager. Once again, if you already have one, that's great. Use it to formulate your thinking. And if it's been a while since you've updated it, perhaps it's time to take a look at it with a fresh set of eyes. From there, you'll want to define your launch marketing budget. How much money do you actually have to play with? Will it be paid, or will you simply be investing in freelancers like myself to help you create the content? And then lastly, you want to do your keyword research. So you can reach out on People Per Hour, one of those other sites. You can look internally to any of your SEO specialists. You can hire someone like myself to do an SEO report and find high volume, high traffic keywords that will benefit your product or business. From there, we want to talk about presence mapping. So where do you need to be and where shouldn't you be? If you're an existing business, this is a really important step because oftentimes you will have legacy channels that aren't serving you. Don't be afraid to close a LinkedIn page that you are not updating and that isn't providing anything value to your audience. It will actually hurt your reputation to be on more channels than you can sustain. So later on in this presentation, I do include a channel map that I recommend that you screenshot, print out, put it on your desk, because it's really useful when you're thinking about where you should be. But for the purposes of this exercise, I think that just a piece of paper is good. Start thinking about where your product launch should be featured. Will you need to open new social media channels? Will you need to do direct marketing like LinkedIn InMail and things like that? Will you have a microsite or feature it on your brand website? What about trade shows, events? Should you do something for influencers that's private or attend something that already exists? And what about listings, Google My Business, any other sort of rating agency that you might want to get your business listed on? From there, once you have a list of all the channels where your product or business is going to be, you need content for that launch and ongoing. So it's good to do an asset needs list. Think about all the profile pictures, headers, existing blogs, posts to fill out your feed, things that you're going to need before day one. And then what are the ongoing content requirements? Google the frequencies for various channels within your sector and follow those for a best practice. Then if you're going to have ad budgets associated with that, then you want to think about the content requirements for that. Are you going to have a copywriter write ad copy? Are you going to source that internally? Do you need an external designer? Things like that. From there, you'll want to create a content calendar. So throughout the launch and beyond, what are you going to talk about? And it should be a mix of promotional, educational, inspirational, and entertaining content. So if it suits your brand, maybe you might want to have some bloopers or behind the scenes. Maybe you can share before and afters or case studies. Perhaps you need to provide wider evergreen content around your product or service and what it does, the problems that it fixes. Sometimes people don't even realize there's a problem until you point it out. And then lastly, are you going to run any sales or limited time discounts to accompany your launch? That would be under the promotional tab. So find the best mix. and then create a marketing launch timeline. So this is where a lot of people stumble. They jump straight to advertising, spending money, and they don't have any window dressing. So their brand lacks consumer confidence. When customers visit your website or your social media page, they're going to have a certain expectation for what that's going to look like if you're a legitimate business. So when you're thinking about what channels you're going to be present on, what does the window dressing, the like pre-visitation content look like in order for your brand to look and smell legitimate to your customers? You want to do that about 1 month before you launch your organic strategy. For your organic, not only are you going to do SEO activities, but you might want to look for partnerships with existing businesses, reach out into your LinkedIn network for your first few followers, create lead gen events like the webinars that I host myself, or begin your overall content strategy. Then after a month, once you get some data on what's working, that's when I would refine that messaging and content, go into your calendar, remove stuff that isn't working, that doesn't resonate well with your audience, and really hone in on the core pillars of what your initial traffic actually wants you to talk about. Then when you go to spend money, you actually will have some data to put that cash behind. Initial early adopters can give you a lot of good data-driven decisions for where that budget should go. Then lastly, when you're picking those paid channels for that budget, you want to think about like what your goal is. Are you supporting an already embedded organic strategy, or are you just trying to get some traffic while SEO doesn't work? It takes about 6 months for SEO to do really anything. So do you need to supplement that, or did you get really good early traffic through, say, PR or media coverage? Then you want to create an audience targeting group, go to market, look for the highest concentrations at the lowest cost per click. And I think the Venn diagram is next, which will help you do that. Then you want to run that campaign for 1 month, look at the ROI, tweak the messages, tweak the targeting, and run again, basically in perpetuity until you get diminishing returns, or as long as your budget will allow for. This is the Venn diagram that I was talking about. This is what I wish I had as a marketer. I would have pinned it to my desk for planning, marketing, and ad campaigns. This is where the audience actually is. So you can see there are some places of overlap, and then there are places where it's primarily these specific groups. So under 40 B2C are on TikTok, Snapchat, influencer marketing, Twitch, those sort of places. Over 40 years old in the B2C sector is your traditional marketing, your radio, outdoor, TV, telemarketing activities, and then Facebook and X. Then they share channels together. Like SMS marketing works for all like B2C groups. They're both on Instagram, they're on Spotify and other like streaming radio channels. Every sector can be reached by loyalty marketing, content marketing, podcast marketing, PR, search, and SEO. And then you have things that are strictly B2B, like webinars, networking, LinkedIn, conferences, trade shows. So this is a really great tool for picking where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So if you have any questions about this, or you can't access it for whatever reason, please get in touch. You can message me on LinkedIn. And if you want more sales, please consider buying my book. If you have to write a lot of this copy yourself, or you need your team to write it internally, I can help you with better sales copy. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. Otherwise, you can buy it in paperback, hardback, or on the Kindle for just a few pounds. It'll tell you how to create good headlines, craft a compelling tone of voice, write persuasively, use AI tools well, optimize your content for SEO, and test and improve your copy. So I definitely recommend that for anyone in your team who's going to be writing this content. And then lastly, if you do need a copywriter, I am available. It's what I do for my full-time job. You can visit my website, creative.copyuk.com, or you can jump right into my diary via the links provided on screen. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on the next webinar.